Okay, so this morning I just finally, after all this time, received a call from my Cadillac dealer that they are ready to submit my order for their allocation on a brand new 2024 all-wheel drive Sport 3 level LYRIQ. So it's been a long wait, but finally they are ready to submit my order. So I'm getting silver with the silver interior. Now, as you know, they also just recently showed that they have the Escalade, which is going to be now electric. And now I'm starting to think maybe what I should do is lease the LYRIQ and then possibly submit an order for the Escalade in the future and maybe go after one of those if I really like having an electric car. If I don't like having an electric car, I can always say, you know what, I'm just going to go back to gas for the time being. I've also noticed that most of the other dealers are now offering lease incentives. BMW has the i4 for $499, the iX for $799. Mercedes is dropping $10,000 off on the S-Class. And on top of that, you may have noticed I did a video on the Lucid Air recently, and at $1,000, they've dropped that lease now to $749. So I've tried to share all of the lease options and the lease deals that have come out with you. I've tried to share those so that this way anybody else who was thinking about getting something like that, if they didn't know about those deals, then they could possibly go after it. So this is the car in white. I have already made videos of the car, and a lot of things have changed since the debut editions came out. The debut editions, I think, were a little bit rushed, and they hadn't thought everything out. So the push-button door openers from the debut edition are gone, and now they have these open hook doors like the Nissan GTR and like some other cars that use that style of hook. The speaker options have also been slightly upgraded. They've been changed a little bit, like they've changed the positioning of subwoofers in the car. There's just a few things that have changed. Like the debut editions came with heated, cooled massage seats, and they came with Super Cruise as standard. But the roof that they had was a fixed sunroof. Like some people don't realize the difference between a sunroof and a moonroof is a sunroof stays basically a glass panel that's fixed, but a moonroof is a glass panel that can actually be opened. So that's like one of those minor industry terms. Now, the thing I love about the LYRIQ as opposed to the Teslas and even the BMW, in some cases, these cars don't have sun shades. So they may have a fixed glass roof, but they don't have a glass roof cover, which means that if you're in the car, you may be able to change the lighting opacity of the glass, but you may not be able to cover yourself up. So if you have a Tesla Model Y or a Tesla Model 3, you know what I'm talking about. You don't have a sunshade. I find that unacceptable. And the reason I find that unacceptable is simply because what if it's extraordinarily hot, like it's been recently? We've just come through the hottest July, like on record. What if it's extraordinarily hot and then, you can't get comfortable? This car that I ordered is going to drive itself, and this car is going to have massage seats, heating and cooling in the seats. The one feature I had to drop was the 19 kilowatt charger. And I was told by the dealer, if I drop that charger, it'll speed my delivery along. I'll still be using level 2 at home, and I'll still be using DC fast charging. See, over here at Porsche, the number of cool cars is growing, so that means that people are trading these damn things in faster than you can imagine. So you got the white S-Class, you got look at how many of these fucking Corvettes they got. You might as well be selling Corvettes. Look at this. They got 3 of these C8s in a row, man. So I guess those leases must have come to an end, and all these guys are dumping these cars for I don't even know what they're dumping them for. All those C8s right there. So you got the Taycan sitting there. You got the Bentley sitting there. I'm definitely seeing these Model Ys and 3s popping up. Look at all the, man. And then you have these cars right here. So you got the MC20 Maserati, the Acura NSX, a bunch of Huracans, and then this Aventador. And all these cars are played out They can't move them because these interest rates are sky high. It's like you ain't moving no car like that at no 8%, bro. You're just not doing it. I stopped by Cadillac to see how production is going. They said that they have just started accepting the allocations for the rear-wheel drive models of the level 3s. Now, I have an all-wheel drive of all the level 3. I just wish they'd do them all at the same time. But bottom line is, it looks like the wait is coming to an end. I think at this point, I'm probably going to see this thing probably before Christmas. So once again, this is the white one. This is the white one with the white interior. So it's a white exterior, white interior. And, I just came by because I keep looking. I tell you, the car market right now is so ridiculously boring. It's unbelievable. It's like either they're making cars that you don't want, or they're making cars that you absolutely can't afford. Like Mustang just released, they got like information. They released like a $300,000 Mustang that supposedly is like some, able to compete with supercars. I'm like, who the fuck has $300,000 to buy anything? Much less a damn Mustang. Who's spending $300,000 on a Mustang? I just think that's insane. But me personally, it's like I think the car game is basically dead on the regular consumer level. It's like unless you're buying a supercar, it's like you could just forget it. So my thing is, it's like I'm ready to just take the electric. I'm just ready to just take electric at this point. They had a Nimbus metallic model of one of these things. I wanted to take a look at it. I think they have it in the yard, so I'm going to go take a look at it after I say hi to the finance manager. But I'm just, and what is it? They have the Escalade coming soon. I want $130,000 for that, which is easily going to turn into $150, and then after that, it'll turn into $200 with everything in it. Because even right now, they're selling the Escalade ESVs for like $148. So it's like, what kind of market is this? It's like, basically, you have to be rich to buy anything right now. It's ridiculous. It's just like the housing market. The only thing moving the housing market is the baby boomers right now because nobody else has got the money. So, yeah, this is the white one. So it's white with white interior. It's a very nice color, actually. The design of this thing really shows off. And then, of course, that's the Escalade. And they're going to make this electric $130,000 Escalade. Man, this thing is freaking big. This thing is a bus. Oh, they locked this one. I think this is the white diamond paint. Yeah, that's something else. Thing's a freaking bus. How you doing, Sam? Yeah, so this, I think this is not an ESV. I could be wrong. This one is a four-wheel drive premium luxury. And this has Super Cruise. Like, this actually has Super Cruise. You can see it on the steering wheel. So this one has it. And this is $107,000. So basically they're saying if you get a regular Escalade premium luxury. Oh, this has the TVs too. Look. This has the TVs in there. So they got the TVs and they got Super Cruise. And this is $108,000. But they're saying that if you want the ESV, you're going to pay $148,000. And then on top of that, if you want it to be electric, you're going to pay $130,000. That's just something else right there. Looks good though. It's a bus. This is a Cadillac Escalade V Series, and from the looks of it, I think this is an ESV. I just think it's amazing how quickly they're able to obsolete the old style of these things. Like, the new one that's electric looks amazing, which is weird compared to the older one, which, still, this thing basically looks like a big old bus. But this is some hell of a bus, though. It's like if I had a bunch of kids and I had to drive them back and forth to school, this is a hell of a bus. Because, like, right here, it's got, like, so-so wheels. But then right here in the back, look at this. You got the TV screens. You got these V-Series seats and everything. So basically, the electric version is going to be the same thing. It's just going to have like screens everywhere. It's going to have one big screen that goes all the way across. And it's just going to be like a big, huge screen that just goes from the left to the right. It's like, it's all screens. This thing is nice. It's a big old bus. It's just a big old bus. These cars, man, it's like I have to say, if you're sitting in traffic and you don't mind driving a big old bus, it's like this is the one you want to be in. The Navigator's nice too, but this thing, man, they want $150,000. It's like they think like the average street person is super rich now. It's like everything's $100,000 and $200,000 and $300,000. It's like, where y'all get off? This big old bus. Jesus, look at this. This thing is freaking huge. It's got 2 cameras. Oh yeah, I think you're supposed to. No. How you open this damn thing? Oh, there it is. Oh, that's the lid. That's the glass lid. Oh, so there's a glass lid button right there. Wow. Look at this thing. Yeah, man. This is what you get when you have like 4 kids and you're rich. But I think the electric version, I know it's going to sell. It's just that I know that the gas version, if they continue making the gas version along with the electric version, I think the gas version is going to continue. The gas version is going to sell better. Because this thing right here is like, you don't have to worry about range anxiety. So I think that's a good thing. A big old bus. So this is the full size of this car in a room. It's really good looking, but I'm not getting white. I'm getting silver. But this only has the 20-inch wheels, and I'm gonna have the 22s. And I keep insisting. I think they really should have made the roof line higher and made it a little bit more like a XT5. But they wanted to make it so sleek and everything. It looks great. It really does look great. It's just that I wish there was more headspace. And now all of them have the pull handle, so instead of having a push button, there's a pull handle now. And this is the back seat. It's like, you know, I could push this thing up a little bit so I can sit back there. In fact, there's a electric vehicle charging company that's giving me a electric charger to test for my channel. Yeah, I like these blue accents that they have in there. You could change the color on those. That's the ambient lighting and everything. I think the lowest version of this car doesn't have the ambient lighting. It's called the tech version. But once again, I ordered the fully loaded. I like the interior in white. But these cars have been out on the market long enough where now everybody pretty much has seen them. What's this? Oh, this is for your card key, I believe. So you put your card key there and it allows it to start up. Yeah, you got these other people right here looking for an Escalade, shopping for the Escalade. Yeah, I guess I have to wait another couple of months. It'll be another couple of months before I get mine. But the longer this takes, the more money I save up. So, oh, you know what? This one doesn't have the speakers on the headrest. Mine is going to have the speakers on the headrest. This one doesn't. I didn't even realize you could buy this thing without the speakers in the headrest. I thought that was like standard. Yeah, this must be a tech version. This must be like the tech version of the car because I'm noticing there's a lot of things that this one doesn't have. So this must be the lower end version. Even though it's white with white interior, it's still the lower end version. No heated, cooled massage seats. No power sunroof. No Super Cruise. Interesting. Okay, so Yahoo Finance and Kelley Blue Book are both reporting the exact same thing. They're saying that the new car market prices are about to drop. And I'm not surprised about this because I've actually noticed this years ago in my own car shopping. During the end of the summer, prices always drop simply because you have the manufacturers making more vehicles, newer vehicles, and in order for them to get those 2024s onto the lot, they need to get rid of the 2023s. So right now, just about every dealer who has a glut of inventory is trying to liquidate their vehicles. So basically, if you look at Yahoo Finance, they're basically talking about it right here. So they're saying the U.S. car market has shifted into lower gear in only a matter of months after average car prices hit record highs as recently as last summer. Some analysts now predict that an oversupply of vehicles will lead to a price war that sends prices plummeting. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand why this is going to happen. It's inevitable. First of all, there's two main reasons. Number one is what I just mentioned. It's the fact that we're coming to the end of summer. They have new vehicles. They need to get those new vehicles onto their floor plans, and they need to get rid of the old vehicles. So that means that the 2023s and the 2022s that have been left over, which they're very few at this point, the dealers will have special incentives just to get rid of those cars because they don't want those cars sitting around. That's number one. The other problem is that sales have been down simply because interest rates have been so high. You see, the government got us so addicted to 0% interest rates and low interest leasing, 1.9% leasing. They got us so addicted to that until when they actually started raising the interest rates, people lost their minds. It's like, you remember the Joker and Batman? He's like, oh yeah, well, if you have 0% interest rates, it's all part of the plan. But if you raise interest rates to 5%, everybody loses their minds. Yeah, well, that's basically what we're going through right now. And it's not just the car market, it's the housing market too. We were so addicted to 0% interest rates that as soon as they raised those interest rates beyond 4%, all of a sudden, what normally would have been an affordable monthly payment suddenly became unaffordable. But it's worse than that. Most of these dealers, Mercedes, BMW, Lexus, Range Rover, Jaguar, most of these dealers, I've noticed that even if you have excellent credit, you're still looking at a 7 to 8% interest rate. The super rich have no problem with this. They can buy these cars in cash if they really wanted to. The super rich can afford it. The problem is that you've had the average Joe on Main Street who's been affording these Mercedes and BMWs and Jaguars and all this. They've been affording this stuff only because the interest rates were low. So even if they stretched out the monthly payments to 96 months, and in some cases further than that, if you stretch out the payments to 96 months, 8 years, it makes an unaffordable object affordable. Same thing goes with houses. There have been 40-year and 50-year fixed mortgages on houses that have been offered out there. And I understand the reason why they did that. They were trying to refinance people who normally would have been able to afford their houses. They've been trying to refinance these people to an affordable monthly payment, even if you're literally stretching the term of repayment beyond these people's natural lives. So interest rates have seriously hurt this economy. Nothing is selling the way it used to sell. And not only has that hurt our economy, but it's also hurt the China economy. And the reason why is because America was basically China's biggest buyer. Nobody else in the world was buying junk at the rate that we're buying from China, right? A conspiracist might actually believe that these things are interconnected. They might actually believe that the reason why the Fed is raising these interest rates is to hurt China and to ultimately hurt Russia by causing ripples in the the commodities market, the real estate market, the oil market, so forth and so on. But that's a conspiracy theory, and I'm not a conspiracist. Oh, wait, yes, I am. But so anyway, what are they saying? They're saying a recent report from UBS estimates that global car production will exceed sales by 6% this year, leaving an excess of 5 million vehicles. So that they're saying that demand is going to be much, much lower than supply. Yahoo Finance reported on this. They say although those price cuts might not happen until the better half of 2023, automakers are preparing for a price war, and some electric vehicle makers are already slashing prices. Now, electric vehicles are taking off in sales, and the reason why is mostly because of government subsidies. If you purchase an electric vehicle, there's usually a government subsidy offered for it. Right now, the best sellers are like the Tesla Model Y. GM is selling LYRIQs. You're just not seeing that many of them on the road because of these interest rates. As you've seen, the new Escalade is going to be electric. That wouldn't qualify for a tax rebate. The reason why is because it costs way more than like $80,000. I believe $80,000 is the cutoff point for the Inflation Reduction Act. On top of that, there's other electric cars, and they're selling pretty well. Tesla also slashed the price of the top two cars, the Model S and the Model X. So there's a lot of options now that there weren't last year this time. Because if you remember how things were last year this time, you couldn't get a car if you really wanted one, and you couldn't get it the way you wanted it. For basically the last 2 years, that's what it was. So, it is what it is. Given the bullish production schedules, we see high risk of overproduction and growing pricing pressure as a result, UBS said in a note to clients. The price war has already started unfolding in the EV space. We expect it to spread into the combustion engine segment. So ICE vehicles, they're saying. Let's see. If you go to Kelley Blue Book is saying, when will car prices drop? They're saying in July 2023, average new car transactions were about 26% higher than the same month 3 years ago. Now, see, if you're going to compare 2023 to 2020, of course, the sales are going to be 26% higher than 2020. During the quarantine in 2020, people were trying to hold on to money, whatever money they had, because of the uncertainty. So they weren't buying anything. If you really think about it, the only thing people were buying was like computers for their at-home work, computers for their kids to do at-home school, but they weren't buying big ticket items. I would say that the real estate market did start seeing more people going into it because there were a lot of people fleeing the cities and heading to the suburbs if they could find houses. Now, as you can see 3 years later, there's damn near no houses left. Housing construction is severely down. And the reason for that is because these housing builders, they've realized that there's no money in single family houses. They would rather build multi-family dwellings so that this way they can make more profit. Let's see. It says, however, average transaction prices are flat compared with last year. Electric car prices are down about 19% from a little more than a year ago. Yes, as I was saying, last year it was very difficult to get anything. If you wanted a Tesla last year during the summer, if you put in an order, they were going to tell you immediately it's going to take you like 5 months to a year to get that car. But what was funny was when the market relaxed, all of a sudden now everybody has inventory. And, part of that was because of the chips shortage, which is the reason why I was trying to tell you to invest your money in semiconductor chip manufacturers. And keep in mind, I was telling you this a long time ago. I was telling you NVIDIA. I was telling you Micron. I was telling you TSM, ASML. I was telling you this a long time ago. And if you had gotten in, especially when I was telling you about that NVIDIA stock split, if you had gotten in, you'd have been up right now. You would have had more money, period. You would have just had more money. If you had gotten into AMD, when I told you, AMD was $50. I told you, these semiconductor chips are the future simply because they're going to be in everything. They're going to be in your stove. They're forcing you off of gas, everything. They're going to force you onto electric, everything. They have to regulate that stuff. They're going to have chips in every damn thing. even your ceiling fan. So, anyway, manufacturer incentives averaged $2,148 last month, the highest level since October 2021. You can easily find a new Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, or Jeep, though not necessarily a Honda, Kia, Toyota, or Subaru. Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, and Jeep mostly are made in Canada. Canada makes a lot of money shipping Jeeps and cars down here. Now, as you know, I have a Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT, and after the demise of SRT, I'm pretty much done with Chrysler for the foreseeable future. It's not so much Chrysler and Dodge I have a problem with, or Jeep. It's not them. It's really Stellantis. I'm not happy with the parent company, I should say. I'm not happy with the way they do business. Under Stellantis, service sucks. I'll just say it just like that. I liked it better when it was FCA. Service seemed like it was just easier on the consumer. It says in the last several years, car shoppers have grown accustomed to paying more than MSRP. Well, that's not me. I refuse to pay over MSRP. In fact, on my new car, I'm getting a $5,000 discount because they canceled my first order, which was for 2023, and they bumped me up to a 2024. So because they did that, they had to give me some incentive to stick around. So they said, okay, we'll give you $5,000 off. So not only will I get $5,000 off, but on top of that, I'll get the $7,500 tax credit since the car costs less than $80,000, or at least that's how I optioned it. And because my dealer just told me that they have to cancel the, 19 kilowatt charger, it looks like my order will be about close to $2,000 less than what it was when I first ordered it. But I was trying to order it with all of the bells and whistles. For example, I wanted it to drive itself just like a Tesla, and I wanted it to have a powered moonroof, and I also wanted it to have I wanted it to have the large wheels. Now, I didn't have to order the large wheels. I could have just stuck with 20s. But I say, hey, if I'm going to order this thing, I might as well have the big wheels, Because, one way or another, I'm paying for it anyway. So it's like, whatever. But it says it left many shoppers scratching their heads. And the question our experts get most is, when will new car prices drop? We can tell you that new vehicle price inflation has almost disappeared this year. That's great news on its face. However, car prices increased exponentially in the last 3 years. In this story, we'll explain how to navigate car shopping. Okay, I'm not going to read all of this. I'll leave you the link, or you can look it up yourself. It's on Kelley Blue Book. The reality is, the main thing I've seen is that luxury car prices have just exploded. Every single new interesting luxury car you'd want to buy now costs over $100,000. The Escalade, they're saying $130,000. As you saw in this video, they wanted $108,000 for a current model Escalade that has Super Cruise and also has pretty much all its features, including rear televisions, so long as you don't mind getting that car in white. So they want $108,000 for that. Now, if you think back, it wasn't that long ago where you could get like an Escalade for like $80,000 or $70,000. But luxury car prices have been extremely inflated. If you want a Corvette Z06, you got to pay over $150,000. And if there's a markup, you're probably paying $200,000 for, in my opinion, a car that's not even worth $100,000. If you want... Like, for instance, you saw the video where I purchased my Hellcat. That thing was $76,000. If you try to buy a Scat Pack right now, you're looking at $70,000. But if you try to buy a Hellcat, you're looking at $100,000. That's insane. I wouldn't pay $100,000. If I had it to do all over again, I would never pay $100,000 for that car. I wouldn't have paid $100,000 for a Dodge Demon. But it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Mercedes has bumped up all of their prices. So if you want if you want anything lower than an S-Class, yeah, you can probably get it for a reasonable price. The EQ products are over $110,000 to start. Well, I shouldn't say the EQ products. I should say the EQS. The EQE is about $80,000 to $90,000, and then it's just crazy, the market. But see, what I've noticed is those cars have been sitting on these lots. Nobody's buying them. And now they're trying to, as I showed you, they're trying to lease these cars off. And they're saying, listen, if you give us $9,000 or $10,000 down, we'll give you these cars for $799 a month or $899 a month. And they're trying, what it looks to me is that the leases on these luxury cars, if you have excellent credit, they're trying to make their leases less than $1,000 a month. Now, if you're, poor credit and you try to buy a new Honda or you try to buy a new Toyota and you don't have a lot of money to put down and you also have bad credit, you have crappy interest rates, a lot of these new car buy prices, you're basically looking per month, you're looking to pay $1,000 a month. And even if you don't get hit with $1,000 a month as the car note, the insurance cost is going to push you up to $1,000 a month. So you might have the car for $600 or $700 a month, but you got the insurance for $300 a month. I meet so many people who have insurance on their cars higher than mine. Now, I'm driving around in a damn race truck, and they're charging these people more on freaking economy cars. Some of these people are new insured. So they haven't had insurance before and they haven't had time to develop good driver discounts and defensive driver. They haven't had time for that. So some of these people are paying like $350, $400. If you are a new driver and you bought a car cash, like you bought a brand new Nissan Maxima or something, they will tell you on the phone, it doesn't even matter who you call. They'll tell you your insurance is going to cost like $500 to $600 depending on if you live in my state. I mean, I live in New York. If you live in the tri-state area, you're going to get hit with insurance for like $500 or $600 a month. That's a car note plus insurance. That's a car note, and that that's the game right now. That's where we are. So that's that. I just wanted to make a little update. I get asked all the time. Everybody asks me. Everybody in my family asks. Everybody asks me, oh, when are you getting your car? When are you getting your car? So I finally got called. The order is going through. The build time typically is about 2 months. So right now we're entering September. So you're talking about October, November. I'm thinking that if I'm lucky, by Thanksgiving, I should have my car. If I'm not lucky, I'm thinking by Christmas, I'll have the car. But I believe, cross my fingers, I'm thinking I'll have it by Thanksgiving. I'd rather have it by Thanksgiving, but, Christmas or Thanksgiving, it's almost no difference to me. I mean, I wanted it by summer, but they weren't building them. There's also a lingering threat that there might be a strike by what are these, UAW or GM or whatever. I'm going to believe that that's not going to happen. I'm going to believe that it'll be just like UPS and at the last minute they'll cancel something or they'll give you more money or they'll give you Martin Luther King Day off or something. I don't know what it is they want. But I'm hearing there's a possibility there's going to be a strike, and I've seen it in the news. So I'm just, keep my fingers crossed. I don't know. So we'll see what happens. But that's the update. So there it is.
To be continued.